everyone, I'm Rather Incoherent, and today I want to talk about the top 10 level 0 Guardian cards, at least in my opinion. Getting right into it, my number 10 is Toe-to-Toe. It's a zero cost event that deals 2 damage guaranteed. Yes, you do get hit about it, no, that's not fun, but also Guardians have no shortage of level 0 soak, looking at you Tatsu Omori. So honestly, just having access to reliable guaranteed 2 damage when you need it most, when you're level 0 and you're the worst at fighting, is really nice. And as basically all Guardians are fighters, that statement is less true than it used to be, but as most Guardians are fighters, Toe-to-Toe is an exceptional card. It's obviously insane in some characters and not all characters. Mark's a lot less likely to run this because he's more reliable, Danielle is a lot more likely to run this because she benefits from getting hit, but in every character, this is looking at your level 0 deck. Or rather, in every level 0 deck, you're looking at this considering, do I want this? Do I need this? Am I good enough at fighting? Do I have the card slots for it? In pretty much every character. Prepared for the Worst is a perfectly alright level 0 card, and it's one of the few cards showing up on these lists because it's better at higher levels. Why is it better at higher levels? Well, you see, you get Stick to the Plan. Prepared for the Worst is only good if you draw it before your weapons. And when you run Stick to the Plan, this is effectively in your opening hand guaranteed because it's going to be under Stick to the Plan. So it's nice as a draw card in a class that doesn't have draw, tutoring specifically the thing that you need to do your job, a weapon. But it's much, much better when it's a one of under Stick to the Plan. Personally, I think that's a bit of a cop-out, but number 9's not really that high on the list, and frankly the top 10 Guardian cards was a pretty loose contest in the first place, so I'm willing to give it to Prepared for the Worst. Coming in at number 8, we have my personal favorite economy card in the game, Stand Together. It's just emergency cash, but one less. You know, if you can't do math or if you're super self-centered, it's actually emergency cash, but one more, but your teammate gets half of it. And since you're on the same team, that's really good. But here's the real kicker. You're the Guardian, you're the fighter. Your teammate is then, by definition, by process of elimination, the Clover. They matter more than you. So this is way better than emergency cash. Because not only is it 33% better than emergency cash, but it's giving half of it to someone who matters more than you. Love this card, fantastic card. At number 7, we have Take the Initiative. This card technically has a lot of text, but it's just 3 question marks during the Mythos phase. It does other things very rarely. It usually says that you test at 6 against Crypt Shield instead of 3. It's just a really good Mythos Resilience card, and every single Guardian you ever play should be looking at this, because none of them are particularly Mythos Resilient, and with this, you are twice a game. Now, as I've said repeatedly, Guardians are mostly fighters. Coming in at number 6, we have Guard Dog. This is the best level 0 way of dealing testless damage in Guardian, because it can deal 1 testless damage without even spending an action 3 times before it goes down. It does consume the ally slot, that is annoying. You have competition in Beat Cop if you have bad fists. Level 0 Beat Cop's not great, you tend to get level 2 Beat Cops later on. It has competition in Tatsu Omori and everyone, because Tatsu Omori is a great card. We'll talk about him more in a second, I think. But Guard Dog is just a good soak ally that provides testless damage. And you need that the most at level 0, like level 0 Guard Dog is. Oh hey, look at that, it's Tatsu Omori. Speaking of allies and needing soak, Tatsu Omori is the most efficient soak ally available to Guardians. He can also help with your teammate, and oh, when he dies, he's practice makes perfect, except he works on items, and he also works on your teammates if you don't need anything. Tatsu Omori is just a lot of what I said about Guard Dog being soak, a lot of what I said about Prepared for the Worst, a lot of what I said about Stand Together. Like, he's got a lot going on, he's very good, he's useful in literally every single deck. You cannot run Tatsu Omori and have it be a bad card. Honestly, being at only number 5 might be a little bit low for how generically powerful this guy is. He cannot be in a deck and stand out as something that is wrong. The main reason he's not higher is because he competes with Guard Dogs, because a lot of Guardians immediately buy level 2 Beat Cop and he competes with them. That's the main thing holding Tatsu Omori down to number 5. Now, as I said before, you need to deal damage, you're the fighter, Guard Dog deals testless damage, Vicious Blow helps you pass the test and deals an additional damage. It's a just really generic good Guardian card. I don't know how to say it elaborately. It's not anywhere near as interesting as something like Tatsu Omori. It's not even as interesting as Stand Together, but this makes you do your job but better, and you need to do your job as well as you can. So Vicious Blow is insane. The fact that it's at number 4 is actually surprising, but it means the top 3 are kind of nuts, and that's how we get into Hallowed Mirror, which is honestly, pound for pound, probably the best healing card in the game. Sure, it's a little bit action inefficient because you need to play the initial Hallowed Mirror, and as the fighter, you might struggle to find time to play this sometimes. Sure, it does limit to 1 per deck, so it's not super consistent with Guardians having bad draw. But it's also just really, really efficient. The 3 copies of Soothing Melody are incredible. Playing them eventually is fine. You very rarely need them urgently. You'll usually have some amount of setup time, especially if your team knows you're trying. Spare time to set up is what I meant. And this is especially true if your team knows what you're trying to do. If you're like, hey, if you can help me with an enemy that gives me time to Hallowed Mirror and heal, that's something they're inclined to do because oftentimes you're healing them, not yourself. Hallowed Mirror at level 0 is the best level 0 healing card, and it continues to hold its weight even against experienced alternatives, except for like Archive of Conduits, but let's not talk about level 4 Seeker cards today. Coming in at level 2, it's Machete. We're back at level 0, we're the king again. Machete has for a long time been the best weapon with everyone else fighting for second place, and it's such a distant competition that I chose not to include anyone else in the list because you should just be running Machete, and the real point of the other weapon is to be a one-handed weapon in your other hand, in case you're engaged with 2 enemies at once, or you need to swing over because you don't have time to engage, meaning you're not getting the bonus damage. Machete is just unlimited +1 punch for +1 damage. It's barely a condition. You do need to plan around that condition. You would like to have a 45 automatic or an enchanted blade in your other hand. Those would have been my runners-ups if I had it left within 12 spots. But the reality is that Machete is, bar none, the best level 0 fight weapon in the game. There's no better way of dealing consistent damage at level 0 in any color. And that makes it kind of funny that in the fight color it's only number 2, but that's because number 1 is Safeguard, baby. You know what makes it hard to fight? Being in the wrong place, having to move over to help somebody. Safeguard is Leo DeLuca, but he's slotless and only costs 2 resources because you have to move. Leo DeLuca is on a character that is spending actions moving, meaning it's functionally identical to Safeguard on most turns. Safeguard gives you a shitload of actions. Sure, you use those actions to swing a machete. That's totally true. But the number of actions for the investment it costs from Safeguard is just ridiculous. I cannot think of a harder card to cut from a deck than Safeguard. I will make a Guardian without Machete and not feel like I've made a terrible deck. If I make a Guardian without Safeguard, I've made a mistake. Plain as that. I cannot cut Safeguard from Guardian and feel like I'm not making a mistake. Doesn't matter what my role is, doesn't matter what the deck does, you should be running Safeguard. End of story. It's so powerful. There are, I think, no other cards in the game give as many free actions as effortlessly as Safeguard. Just a ridiculous card. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Short video today. Guardian's not a super complicated class. I hope you've enjoyed hearing me ramble about them. Thank you for listening. Thank you to my Patreons, Evan and Jeffrey B, and I'll see all of you in the next one.